So today's video, I am going to talk about what my experience was like working at Amazon. I worked at one of the sortation centers, and so I wanted to give you my breakdown of what the application process was like, you know, my orientation and what it was like actually working there. I was looking for something that was seasonal. I was on Indeed.com. I was trying to find something where I could make a little bit more money than, you know, just the typical retail jobs, because retail jobs always are looking for more help, but the competition has gotten, there has been more competition because nobody really wants to work for just a minimum wage. And yeah, the retail stores, I did those jobs, and they only pay you really pretty much the minimums, and then you get like a 20 to 50% employee discount, whatever. But I came across Amazon, and Amazon has so many different jobs that you can apply for, but the one I had applied for was doing the it was working in one of the warehouses, and it was for the sortation center. Okay, well, what really caught my eye for that position is that they were starting off at up to $16 an hour with no experience, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's more than double than what the typical seasonal position pays. So let me see what all I need to do. And then what also caught my eye with it was that the hours were flexible. So because I generally was looking for something that I didn't have to have a set schedule. Okay, I have no warehouse experience whatsoever, but this ad for the Amazon position is saying that I don't need any. So I decided to do the application. It was asking me general questions like, okay, out of these shifts, are any of these shifts within days that you can work? And it was offering me, at the time it was like 11:15 p.m. to 3:15 a.m. And they offered it like throughout the week, so it was like a straight Monday through Sunday, but you could pick the days. And generally, I really was just looking for something that was the weekends, because I didn't want to have to work really late and then get up early for, you know, my 9-to-5 job. So I was looking for something that was like a Friday, Saturday, maybe possibly Sunday, but really just Friday, Saturday night. And he had something, so I applied for that, and I got an email. You know, okay, backing up a little bit, the application process was pretty straightforward. I didn't even have to come in and do an interview. I did everything just online with that. Through the application process, I picked which shift it was that I was available to work. I filled out, you know, the whatever information they needed to do your background checks or whatever. And then I just remember them asking me what day I could come in for like orientation, and it giving me like once I accepted an offer for employment, it gave me like some training, some online training that I needed to do, which literally took me probably about 30 to 45 minutes to complete. And then I also had like an orientation that I had scheduled. The orientation was scheduled like, I want to say maybe a week or maybe 2 weeks after I had finished that whole application thing, and they got back to me saying, we would like to offer you employment or whatever. And the orientation was scheduled for an hour. And when I went for the orientation, Amazon does do drug screening, so they had you doing that right at the orientation. So if you didn't pass your drug screening, you weren't going to be able to move forward with like your first day. So you had your hire date, and then you had like your first day of employment. So at the orientation, we watched like video, and we had like this safety training type thing, and we did the drug screening, and they just also checked to make sure that you had all your paperwork done online, which you should have completed before you came to the orientation, which I made sure to do. And that was pretty much just you know, just doing like your W-9 stuff. But when you came to orientation, you had to bring your proof of identity, of course. So they took that stuff from you, like your ID, social security card, blase blase, just the typical getting hired for a job type thing, with the exception of drug screening, because I've never had to do a drug screening that required like a mouth swab. But usually whatever jobs I've done that did require a drug screening, it was just like a urine type test. But this one, they made us do like a mouth swab. And then let's see, then we had our first day. So I signed up for the night shift, and I thought I was going to be hired at the $16 an hour, but I got the offer saying that I was going to be making $15 an hour, which I was like, I thought it was 16, but I was like, okay, whatever. $15 an hour is still okay. And because I also opted to work like Friday and Saturday nights, if I worked those, I got a 50 cents per hour premium. So I was making like $15.50 if I decided to work on Friday or Saturday nights. So working in Flex, again, you pick the hours that you want to work. Now, one of the bad things about Flex is that you have to pick up the shifts as soon as you get the alert that there's a shift available. Now, Amazon, since I've worked there, they've like made this app that you can go on that's for the employees, and you can get notifications through the app, through your email. They'll ask you how you want to get notified of like work opportunities, as they call it, VET, and then voluntary extra time. And so if you didn't pick up on those like right away, by the time you logged in, say if you did it, I've done it both ways. Like I've gotten the text messages and then I've gotten the emails. If you don't jump on those right away, the shifts are like gone. So if you're looking for something that was more steady, you probably wouldn't want to do Flex. You probably would have wanted to pick up something that was set schedule, which when I did the original application, they did ask me if I wanted something that was more set, or if I wanted to be able to pick up my own hours, which is Flex, and I night working in retail. So it was different is all I can really say. We had like a safety training, then they gave us a tour, and it was just, one really big warehouse that had like racks of rolls that had like packages and conveyor belts on them. And so everyone was provided like safety gloves. You had like this neon type safety vest so that people can see you, because cars do come in and out of there, cars, trucks, for delivery stuff. Because we are a sortation center, that's where they sort the packages that come from the fulfillment centers. The trucks come there, we unload the trucks, and then we sort them out for the delivery drivers. So so that first night they pretty much did put you to work. I was working as a what do they call it, a stager for a majority of the shifts that I was working, whenever I did the night shifts. And what the stagers did was they took the packages off of the conveyor belt as they came down a certain aisle. You were assigned like an aisle, so they had like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then they had under, say, row A, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or however many. So you were assigned, like, say for example, A10, and so you would stand in front of the A10 spot, and any packages that came down that conveyor belt to you that was A10, you would take it off the belt, put it on this rack, and then there was someone that was in an area behind the rack, and where they would take that package off the rack and then scan it into like this big bag that's for a delivery driver. Sometimes it was like 55,000 packages, okay, that we were sorting through. And so it was times where it was so many packages coming down, and you, especially if you were new and you're trying to keep up, it was hell. And then like that first night, my body was so sore. I've learned different positions throughout my time working there. So for the most part, I was doing the staging. I've also did the scanning, that part I was just explaining about, that the person who actually took the package off of the rack and put it into a bag. Done the inducting, which is scanning the packages that come off the belt, putting the little stickers on there. I've done diverting, which is pushing the packages down whatever aisle it is supposed to go down. And that was all on like the third shift. So the third shift people was getting the packages ready for the delivery drivers. And then the first shift was doing the taking those packages that the third shift got ready and actually what do they call it? They called it picking routes. So for the most part, the people there were pretty nice and friendly, and they helped you and answered your questions, especially the ones who had been there for a while. They helped you out if you didn't know what you were doing, if you had a really quick question. I think I encountered only one rude guy throughout my time working there, and it was like early on during my time there. I want to say it probably was like my second or third shift there, and he was just a real ass. And I was like, dang, is this how it's going to be? Is this how the people are? But I think he really was just having a hard day, because I haven't seen him since that night. So either he got fired or he decided to quit. But one of the things I liked about the job is we got paid every Friday, and the payday was for all the hours worked that previous Sunday through Saturday. Another thing that they had was they had a point system. So if you picked up a shift, you had to work those hours. There was no swapping your hours out with anyone if something came up. If you lost, if you didn't show up for your shift, you were given points, and once you reached like so many points, you were terminated. For the most part, so just recapping what it was, the things that I liked about it was the flexibility and the schedule. The things that I didn't like is that if you were not quick enough to pick up those schedules and you really need those hours, you would just shit out of luck. Because they did have an app which made that easy to do. I picked up shifts as soon as I saw something that was within the time that I was wanting to work. And I did end up doing the night shift, so that third shift, for a few months. And then I started seeing openings for shifts during the first shift, which was actually like staging routes and picking routes. And I really liked the first shift. It was like working 6:15 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. in the morning. Like if you're a flex, you have to work at least one day per month in order to stay active. So I got to the point where I was only working so many hours just to stay active. I think that was pretty much it about working at Amazon. Overall, I did like it. It was really easy money. The work wasn't terrible. It's just that it can be points of times where you're getting like thousands, like 50,000 packages that you have to sort through, and you're all just like so busy, and it can get like tiring. You can be like so drained, especially if you're working like more than one job. But I wasn't a quitter, and I didn't want to give up, so I tried it out, and I ended up still staying there until about June of this year. There was a drastic different amount of people working there. There was it wasn't like any type of particular person who worked there. They all were from different backgrounds. It was very diverse. It was men, women, young, old. Any other questions or comments about my experience, you can leave those below. And if you like the content of the videos that I am posting up, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. So again, until next time.